So today's topic, is it a good time to buy a house? Never ask a real estate agent if it's a good time to buy or if it's a good time to sell. The answer is always going to be yes. Really, what it comes down to is what are your current needs and how much can you handle as far as stress goes? So, the marketplace right now, limited inventory, rising prices, interest rates are not coming down anytime soon. Everybody knows that. We've seen them edging up. So you really have to want to buy a place if you're gonna be in the market. Um, that being said, it's nasty. It's really nasty out there. Offers are going in, multiple competing offers, getting calls back. I had a client put an offer in, it was accepted. We had the inspection done. We had the contract sent out. My buyer signed the contracts after negotiations between attorneys, went back to the seller's attorney. They were scheduled to sign at 11 a.m. At 10:30, I got a call. Hey, listen, hate to do this to you, but we just received an offer 20,000 more than yours. So we're going to give you the opportunity to match it. But if you can't, we're going to kill this deal and take another one. That's not uncommon right now. This is the marketplace that we're in. And when I say you have to be brave and you have to be willing to put in a fight, you have to be willing to put in a fight. Another true life story, really quick. I brought a client of mine to see a house listed at 520. They wanted to offer 550 right off the bat. It had only been on the market for a day. The open house was scheduled the next day. I said, well, if you want to make an offer, this is where negotiation comes in. If you want to make an offer, you need to put it in at list price. The only way you're going to get it out of an open house situation is if you massively overbid. If it's listed at 520 and you offer 550, that's not a massive overbid. That's kind of what the marketplace is expecting you to do. So we put an offer in at 520. Now my buyers, being the untrusting people that they were, went to the open house with two other sets of friends. And they had everybody go in and talk to the listing agent. The listing agent let them know that if they're not pre-approved or they're not going to offer 550, they most likely won't have a shot at the house. So they called me very pissed off. They said we should have offered 550. So this is where the negotiation strategy comes into place. If a house is listed at 520 and you go in and you offer 550 right from the get-go, that listing agent is holding that offer at 550. Now, any other offer that comes in, that's the jumping off point, 550. All the other offers will have to be over that. So you've just killed your negotiation skills. You've just killed any headway that you could have made. So you offer the 520, you still have about $30,000. Now he's got a 520 offer in hand. And knowing that you want to offer 550, your agent's going to have to negotiate a little bit to get up to that point without going over that point. Or if he's good, he can get it below that. Back and forth with this agent over the next 2 days. I finally got the agent to basically tell me it looks like 540 is going to be the number. My buyer flipped. He said, offer 550, tell him he has to make a decision by tonight. Well, here's the problem with that philosophy. When the seller has multiple offers, they hold all the aces. You don't have any. So you can make those demands, but you have to be willing to walk away. And when I explained that to my buyer, he got extremely upset. He said that the whole system is rigged. Everybody's doing illegal things. None of that's true. None of that's true. This is the marketplace that we're in. So we offered the 550. I spoke to the other agent. It's based off my buyer's instructions to offer the 550. The other agent said, based on the terms that you have, you seem to be the deal we're going to accept. Well, an hour later, my buyer pulled the deal. He rescinded his offer and he decided he's not buying a house anymore because he let ego get in the way. He wanted to be in control and he was very pissed off. Literally said to me, the only reason he's not making a decision right now is because he wants to get other offers to try and drive the price up. Yeah, of course. That's exactly what he's trying to do. It's a seller's market. They're going to try and drive the price up. You know why? Because the seller, they want to get the most amount of money for their house. And you want to pay the least, which is why we didn't offer 550 right from the get-go, because we didn't want that to be the starting point for all negotiations. We offered 520. Well, needless to say, he's out of the marketplace. So is now a good time to buy? Yes, but you have to align yourself with a buyer's agent. That's an agent that represents you, that understands how to negotiate. I said this in my last video. Please don't use your parents. Please don't use Aunt Flo or whoever bought a house 40 years ago. You have to take emotion out of it. I'm an agent. I do this all day long. I have no emotion in the game. I'm strictly a numbers guy. That's it. So, yes, now is a good time to buy a house if you need to buy a house. It's not a good time to buy a house if you don't need to buy a house. But that's pretty much true any day of the week, any day of the year. So you really have to be on point there. But it is a jungle. So you have to understand what's happening in the marketplace. When you go to your buyer's agent, when you go to your realtor, ask a couple questions. If you're interested in a specific town, ask, what is the absorption rate of the current inventory? How fast will that inventory turn over? If it's a low absorption rate, there's high competition. What is the average list price? What is the average sale price? In other words, if people are listing their house at 520,000 and it's actually selling on average for 550,000, you understand there's going to be an overpayment compared to the listing price. If those listing prices are 600 and you're paying 530 on average over 6 months, you understand that that neighborhood is declining a little bit in their price. So you're getting a little bit of relief. The other thing is, and I say this all the time, don't have a checklist of must-haves that is unrealistic. Okay? Now is a good time to buy if you're realistic. So I have a client right now that wants to spend very few dollars and be in a very high-priced area. So we're going to keep an eye out for her. But when that specific unit becomes available, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, of course. There's going to be 30 people bidding on it. What's going to happen to that price? It's going to skyrocket. I say this all the time. If I have a Michael Jordan rookie card and I put it up on eBay for $1, it's not selling for $1. No way. It's going to go up because the market dictates that it's going to sell for whatever the Michael Jordan rookie card is selling for right now. Well, real estate is the same way, especially in a market like this. It doesn't matter if you underprice a house at this point. I mean, if a realtor goes in there and he doesn't know what he's doing and he takes a $500,000 house and he throws it up for 400,000, you know damn well he's getting over $500,000 for that house, because everybody and their brother is going to see an opportunity for a cheap house and they're going to go. And those bids are going to just keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. So you need to ask your realtor, what's the absorption rate? What's the average selling price? What's the average listing price? You also want to know how many units are available in a specific location. So if there are 20 homes available, ask your real estate agent, is that typical of how many homes are usually available? Or is that number higher or lower? Obviously, if it's higher, there's going to be less competition. If that number is lower, there's going to be more competition. Then you also want to talk a little bit about your strategy of buying a home. How fast did it get to the market? How many offers did they make? How long has it been on the market? Are there any repairs that need to be done? And this is the other problem. You're buying a used house. 99% of people are buying a used house. It's like buying a used car. You're not going to walk into a used car lot and say, oh, I'm not paying what you're asking because there's a chipped paint on the hood, or I don't like the way the muffler sounds, or whatever. The house is the same thing. It's been used, it's been lived in. So you can't expect it to be perfect. So when you get your inspection done, have your real estate agent with you. And the offer that you make should be based on the things that you can actually see. So if there's a hole in the wall, you make an offer based on the hole in the wall. When the inspection report comes back and the inspector says, hey, I don't know if you noticed, there's a hole in the wall, you can't lower your offer or change your offer based on what you've already observed. That's stupid. You don't want to do that. If, for example, the home inspector is like, hey, listen, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a leak in the basement. Now you can change your offer because maybe you didn't see that leak in the basement. So that's my 2 cents. Yes, it's a good time to buy a home, but you have to ask the right questions and you have to have the right stomach for it. And make sure your realtor is on your side. So in New York State, we have something called an agency disclosure. It's mandated by the state. It's not a contract. It basically explains your realtor's roles and duties to you. Are they to the buyer or are they to the seller? So that's something you need to bring up to them also. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to call, comment, email.